But yeah, the project. I'm so excited.
Okay, let's just jump over here.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't know where I set my tumbler because I had it and I don't know if I was just getting crazy out there in the craft room and set it down somewhere. If it's not on my desk, check in the supply closet. Okay, so let's just go overhead first of all because I want to show you all this tumbler. This is Valentine's themed, or anti-Valentine's Day themed if you want to really be specific. It says Stupid Cupid, and then we've got this cute little offset heart, and y'all look at all these colors we used with, this is completely made of scraps, okay? Everything that you see here, I pulled out of our scrap bin. So it's something where we just used a section of that scrap and I just threw it in the bin like I don't want to throw it away because it's beautiful, but I want to use it later potentially. And so what we've done, I'm going to show you all this technique on how to cut this out in Design Space, how to lay these on your mat and cut them out. Thank you so much. And this is a snow globe tumbler. I'm not going to be doing a snow globe tumbler tutorial today because that is a whole video in itself, but I did link one that Lauren did with her pumpkin spice tumbler that you can recreate on your own with tumblers that I linked for you. So these tumblers are from Little Lattes. She is a small shop owner that we are absolutely in love with. She has beautiful glitters and she sells the crap out of these snow globe tumblers. Okay, first of all, this size is amazing. This is a 20-ounce straight edge tumbler. The technique I'm going to be showing you all today is going to be more doable with a straight edge tumbler. And what I mean by that is that these edges don't taper out. So they're going to go straight, they're parallel, they're going to go straight forever. So if you try to do this technique on a taper tumbler, it's not going to look the same. It's not going to lay out the same. You need to get straight edge tumblers. Just trust me on that. So we've got our tumbler right here. I've got some washi tape so we can secure our vinyl down. I have some rubbing alcohol to clean our surface. You're going to need a paper trimmer or something that can cut a straight edge. If you've got one of the ones that's like one of those is going to be great. You need something that can cut a straight edge though, like very straight. And then I've got some transfer tape. This is just the Caesar brand transfer tape. And then I have a good newish standard grip mat. You do not want to use a well-loved mat for this tutorial, mainly because we do not want our scraps moving and we're going to be using a lot of little strips of vinyl. And then the last thing, if we can go to camera 1, let me just show you all. This is the star of the show, if you will, is our scrap bin. So I have some pretty big scraps in here, and what I'm going to do just for this tumbler specifically, because I do want to have some bigger pieces, I'm going to pull out the bigger size pieces that I have, and I may even still have some of that pink left over. I don't even remember. I threw my extra transfer tape in here. You can see I do have this HTV. I've got some brick, so you've got to be able to know the difference, but I was like, you know what, let's just pull some out. Here's some yellow. That's not giving Valentine's, but we'll pull it out. But like I can tell that I can get like a few strips out of that. So I'm going to pull out my big pieces first. I love having a white or like a black would be good here. And you know what? Sometimes I throw pieces in here like we get these sample pieces. I think these are from Tech Wrap. We never use these for anything, so I threw them in my scrap bin, but like I'm loving this. I'm going to throw that out. So it's not going to look exactly, I'm going to use the same format I think today. This is fun. This is Dollar Tree vinyl. I'm going to use the same format for my design today, but it may be more, it's looking like it's going to be more of a red, black, and white instead of a pink. So I wanted this to really be a true test of using our scraps. So you can see I'm just pulling out these bigger pieces. I've got these fun little cheetah prints. Ooh, but these are cool because they're see-through. So when you're working with a snow globe tumbler and you're putting vinyl on, this clear, like transparent is gonna look really cool. But I don't know if it goes with our vibe. It's kind of giving like Valentine's vibes. Okay, I've got some red and black. Let me see if I've got one more sheet of red in here. You never know what's on this bin. There's a ton. We get more HTV in here than anything, just because we use HTV more often. What is this? That's HTV. I would love to know what you all have made using your scraps, if you've ever made a full project before, or if you're like, I don't keep my scraps. I feel like a lot of you all keep them. Because every time we throw anything away in the comments, they're like, "Why don't waste it? Don't waste it. Don't throw it away." We don't normally. We keep them.
Yeah, I mean, and I like having bigger scraps. Like, let's talk about what's the smallest that you would keep?
Okay.
Like, show me some samples here that's like, if it's anything smaller, it's just wasted.
So like this is borderline right here.
Yeah.
This is very borderline, but
Yeah.
I might can use some of that. But I have like a bigger chunk here, so I may not need to.
Right.
But this one is getting small, but that gold is so beautiful. I like obviously didn't want to throw it away.
Yeah.
But then you can see here, like I've got these big rolls of white. I didn't want to waste, but I didn't know where to put them because they don't fit in our storage. These are good sizes to keep. Like this is still substantial. I don't know if you're like this is borderline because it has something cut out here and all we're literally going to have is this little area. So like, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use the yellow. I think we're going to focus on red, black, and white here.
So good.
So let's take out what we don't want. Do we want the pink?
I don't know if that's the vibe.
It's not. I'm loving red, black, and white. Now, we could use both of these, I think. Okay, guys and gals. I've got my black and white. I've got my reds, my patterns. Now, this tumbler, what I did was wrap around the base of this. And I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just really drawn to this black right here. So you can see here, this is only going to wrap halfway around, but I'm going to cut it in half and we're going to match the edges, okay? And I did not seal this with anything except for a heat gun. You don't need to seal it. Like you could resin this, but it was going to be way too much work. It's vinyl, it's permanent vinyl. It should stay just fine. So I think, I don't know. What do you guys think? Drop a comment. Do we do cheetah print or black and white polka dots for the bottom edge? This is see-through. This is not. See-through, not see-through.
My vote is probably the polka dots, even though I feel like polka dots died in like 2010.
Yeah, but everything comes back around.
Yeah.
No trends.
So we're like ahead.
There's no bad trends.
Bad trends. I love that.
Polka dots are timeless.
So good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I am going to go ahead and start cutting some strips of vinyl. So you can see here we have this dark pink, light pink, and white. I'm going to replace that with black, white, and red today. And obviously I've got lots of black, but I have two different versions. So I've got glossy black and matte black. I'm a matte black girly. I'm going to go with the matte black. We're going to set the glossy black to the side. I've got this, let me make sure this is adhesive vinyl. I'm pretty sure that it is. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so we're gonna use these and this one. You really only need a couple pieces of each. And then I'm gonna cut up some of this basic red. And then we've got, I probably need to use this white here.
Yes, I love a good white.
Yeah, oh, me too. So now what we need to do is measure and then we're going to start cutting. So I'm going to get a burnishing tool, a little hack for you. Get your burnishing tool out and set it right here. And this is going to stabilize your tumbler so you can measure, you can lay vinyl, all of that. And then I've got a tape measure here. And what I'm going to do is place, I'm actually just going to cut this one directly in half. So let's measure and see how big it is real quick. So, move this over. This is a 6x6 square, I believe. Yep, 6x6. So we're going to cut this into a 3-inch strip.
Now, Angela says, what were you just checking to make sure it was adhesive vinyl? Were you just pulling it around back, like pulling back?
Yes. Yeah. So the way that I know that this is adhesive vinyl is I'm pulling up the vinyl right here from the backer. If this was heat transfer vinyl, it wouldn't have this white backer. It would have a clear sheet on top of it, and I would be pulling away the red glitter from the clear sheet. So that's how I know that this is, and it's sticky. Heat transfer vinyl is not sticky until you apply heat to it. Okay, so I'm just lining this up. You want to have really straight edges here. So you just want to make sure that is as straight as it can be. I'm going to go right on that 3-inch mark. This is going to cut this directly in half. So then we've got 2 pieces, okay? You really cannot see where these connect. I mean, y'all, you can't see. This is where mine connects, but like you can't see that. And it connects over here too. So it's pretty flawless. And then, so I've got my 2 pieces. That's going to be my bottom edge. And I'm going to go ahead and actually apply that. So what we need to do before we put any vinyl on is take a rubbing alcohol. I've got ours in like a nail polish remover pump bottle.
My favorite.
This is our favorite way to store it.
I love trainings like this, and I think everyone will appreciate like seeing how you're go build something from scratch.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have an example that you've done, and that's like what's our North Star.
Yeah.
But I love getting to see how you're going to do something a little different, and like what you and everyone at home can like, what everyone at home can really pull from is like, how can I take a Maker's Gonna Learn project and make it a little bit more my own? So this is now, you're getting like a behind the scenes of like how Alicia would recreate a project and make a whole new project.
Yes.
So fun.
This is what we do out there in the craft room. This is really what we do if we're not teaching. And I am going to be teaching you all as we go, but I sat down and Lauren helped me like finalize my design. I like asked her opinion on stuff, and like we were just so impressed that like I came up with this in like an hour using scraps, and I was like, this is going to be so fun for our people to learn how to do. So anyways, I have cleaned my surface, make sure it's completely dry, and let me make sure I'm in the center here. I'm going to take my first piece, okay, and I'm going to line this up to the bottom of my tumbler. So I'm just peeling the back off. I'm not using a transfer sheet or anything like that. That is the cutest thing I've ever heard. I don't know if I've like cut it a little bit crooked. I think that's what happened.
No, it's all coming together perfect.
It's going to come together perfectly in the end. So right now I'm kind of overlapping my vinyl. I cannot get it straight, you guys.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. What I'm going to do is trim off any excess that I have here. And I can feel it and see it. You all probably can't because you're on the camera.
Yeah.
I'm just going to delicately trim this off. Any excess. I'm going to go over. It's glitter, so it's like you got to put a little bit more pressure. And you can see my edges are not lined up. We're going to cover that up so it's totally fine. And then I'm going to trim off this edge as well.
Yeah. So good.
So good. So good. I'm going to cut
Everyone was saying that they love to see that you like pull up and then like reposition because like that's what they do too.
Absolutely,
yeah,
y'all.
Totally. We totally do that.
Absolutely. We do all the same things that you all are doing in your craft room, we're also doing. We cuss sometimes. We get frustrated. I mean, that's just how it is. That's how it is.
I love it.
Okay, so we've got our bottom piece on. Now, I must have cut this one a lot better because, like, I didn't have any of that issue beforehand. So what I'm going to do next is measure this width right here with my measuring tape. We're just going to see how tall. Now, I'm going to measure a little bit past our tumbler. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. I'm going to stop right before I get to the edge of that tumbler so that I know how long these pieces need to be. So let's see. If we did 4.5, that's too low. Okay, I'm going to make these about 5 inches tall. So what we need to do is get our piece right here.
I love doing a wrap like that because you've already covered like 1/3 of the tumbler.
Right, like we already took the bulk of it.
Like boom.
Right, and your because your scraps are not going to be that long. You're not going to have big long pieces generally. Let me see how big this is. And what also is very helpful is to trim down your pieces to the height they need to be beforehand. So like I could technically take this. Let me pull this little thing out. I could take this and trim it so that it's 5 inches. And I like that this has a grid on the back so I can cut a straight line. I'm going to give myself a little allowance.
Love it.
I'd like to have a little bit more because I can trim down my vinyl than a little bit too less. So right now we've got, I'm feeling like we've got a lot. You really don't need a ton, y'all. So right now we have all 4 of these. And then what I'm going to do now is start, let me make sure I've got this at the right. Okay, so I'm going to make different widths of strips. There is no rhyme or reason to this. I literally am just making a bunch of variation sizes of strips. I like to have a good amount of like this thickness. I pretty much do like a small, medium, and a big. So I've got these really skinny strips, and then I'll have like a more medium-sized strip. Can they see those, Sadie? So you can see I've got about 3 sizes there. Just make sure that you are lining this up, and so you're getting a really straight edge every single time. And you're just gonna literally go in here and cut all of these strips and then put them to the side. You just don't want them all to be the same size. That's what gives it this really cute effect, I think. Now, if you wanted to do like some type of Beetlejuicy, like black and white, perfect stripes, you can measure these out and do them all the same. That would be cute too. But just for our purposes, we can have different sizes. Okay.
So good.
Black's done. All right, y'all.
So good.
I got my scraps cut. We are in there like swimwear. Now,
so good.
I am going to place these. First of all, you all see where we're going here? You see what we're doing here? So we're going to be lining these up on our mats. I'm going to take my standard grip mat. I'm going to go ahead and lay these on here, and then we're going to jump into design space in just a second and cut this out. So I'm just going to line all of these up as straight as possible, okay? You cannot see it on my tumbler. There are a few very small gaps. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. If there's a few little gaps, it's totally fine. It's just kind of a part of it. And then I'm just gonna line these up as good as I can. Okay. And you can see I'm literally, like, I'm just getting different thicknesses. And I want it to be very much a variety.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be it doesn't need to be in a pattern unless that's what you like. You can do a pattern if you prefer that. And I'm trying not to overlap them. You don't want them to be overlapped. You just want them to be very close. Now this tumbler, if we measure around, I think it's 9 inches. Let's just see here. We can go to camera 1 because I can't hold that out and measure at the same time. Let's see. This is 9.5 inches. So we need to put our paper strips out here at least to 9.5. I would take them to 10.
Okay, Sin just...
So you don't want to put like a sparkly red beside a sparkly red. And I also don't want to do a bunch of red and white together. Like I did it there, but I don't want to keep doing it or it's going to give candy cane vibes.
Right.
And this is not Christmas, it's Valentine's. We're still going to do Valentine's.
Exactly.
Okay, y'all, let's get into design space. Let's get into it. So this is very, very simple, relatively simple design. So we have downloaded that Sunny Days font. I did reload design space so that my font is in here because I did not have it before. If you're like, how did you even download a font? We go over this in the 30 days to master your Cricut. If you sign up for our free trial, you're going to get access to that. And we go through it very slowly. So you're walked to hand in hand with us on how to do it. So I'm going to type in Stupid Cupid. And we're going to go to our system fonts, which is where our downloaded fonts lived. And I'm going to type in Sunny. And there is our font. Now, you can see here, let me zoom in. You can see where it touches. I like how that looks. Right now, our words do not look like that. So what you're going to need to do is select your text box. We're going to go up to Advanced at the top middle of our screen. And we're going to ungroup to lines. Now, this is going to allow us to freely move each separate word, each separate line of words to wherever we want. So, I also used a glyph over here for my D. You can or cannot do that. If that is something that you want to do, all you have to do is go to your Finder and type in font book if you're on a Mac, or character map if you are on a PC. We're going to type in font book, and then right here our Sunny Days font is, and we can just scroll. Look, these are glyphs right here, all these. This is so easy, you all. If you've never used a glyph before, they're so easy. I really want to test you all, or I guess propose that you all try to use a glyph in your next project. If it's this one, if it's another one. Not all fonts have them, but these like curly fonts look so good. I think this is the D that we used. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to hit Command C, or you can right click and copy. We are literally copying and pasting this into Design Space. So I'm just going to delete that D, and then I'm going to Command V or paste the D in. That's actually a different D, but you can see how easy it is just to pop that in, okay? So if that wasn't the one you wanted, you can always go back and look at it again and find what mine must curl up. Let's see if we can snag it really quick. But look how many there is, and they're so cute. I love glyphs. I would use them in every project if every font had them.
Right.
Okay, maybe we don't. Maybe we'll just commit to what we've got. Okay, so now these are still separate, but I got the D that I wanted. It's a little bit different than that one, but I really like it. So what we're gonna do is select both of those, and I'm going to unite these. I could weld them if you're an old school Cricketer. Weld used to be what we use. Unite is what we use now. Unite is reversible. Weld is irreversible. We do not want to not be able to reverse it. So say I united these. Now they're one solid unit. You can see the S and the C are connected. I'll change the color just so you can really get a picture of what this looks like. They're completely connected, okay? And now what we need to do is add an offset to this. So I've got my text selected. I'm gonna come up here to this offset function, and we're gonna add, let's do like a 0.2 offset. Maybe like a 0.15. You kind of have to piddle around with it.
Yeah, each font is different, I will say that.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to hit apply. Now, I've got these little gaps in here. I'm going to get rid of those. I'm going to go down to this contour function, and we're going to hide all contours. This is going to give us an entirely whole shape with no holes in it, okay? So this is where we're at, okay? We have not added a heart. So what we need to do next is go to our basic shapes and snag a heart. Is that the heart that I used? You can use whatever heart you want. We have this heart. I want to say, I must have stolen one off of our website. Let me see. You can go to our website and go to our cut files, because I probably thought that basic heart was not as cute as the hearts we have, which happens all the time to me, because I'm like, our stuff is way cuter. And you can just literally type in heart or hearts or Valentine's. We have tons of Valentine's fonts.
Hey, Judy, we do have a video for downloading fonts to an iPad.
Yeah,
Alicia has a really good video that like goes through it on all the devices.
Yes.
So you can email customer service, hi@makersgonna.learn.com, and they will shoot it over to you. Isn't that so good?
Yeah, totally.
So good.
Okay, I downloaded that heart SVG. I'm just going to click and drag that from my Finder into this little upload area, and then we're going to upload it, okay? I've linked everything I use down below for you all.
Love it.
And let's zoom out. Well, it came in so little.
So what the F? We are compiling a complete font pairing guide courtesy of our very own Sadie Lewis. We're so excited. She has, correct me if I'm wrong, Sadie, wrapped up pairing, and we are developing it into an amazing workbook for you. So I'm so excited. You're going to be like, we'll have a big launch when it comes out, because it's going to be a big deal.
Big deal. Okay, so now I've got all these 3 layers. So let's just, whoopsie. Let's just zoom in on what we're working on. So I've got the heart layer, the offset layer, the word layer. There's a few different ways you can get this similar effect, But what I'm gonna do, we're gonna ignore the stupid Cupid. All we need to focus on is the offset and the heart. So in the layers panel, I'm gonna select the offset by clicking it with my mouse, and then I'm gonna hold down the shift key and select the heart layer. This is gonna select both layers at one time. The next thing that you're gonna need to do is slice it, okay? So I'm gonna select slice. You do not wanna use the exclude function here. A lot of people are gonna say, why don't you use exclude? It's very similar to slice, but where this offset overlaps that heart, you're gonna get not the result that you want, okay? Because the shape overlaps the edge of the heart. That little tail right there is still gonna stay on our image, unfortunately. So make sure you use the slice function here. So what we're gonna do, I hit slice, and you can see in our layers panel, we have all these slice results. So I need to just remove all of this, okay? Isn't that so cute? And then the next thing that we're gonna wanna do is select all of it, and we're gonna add an offset to the whole thing, okay? So we're just gonna add that offset. Now, just leave it like it is for the time being. I need to make a 5 by 9 inch square. So this piece right here, actually 9.5 by 5. I'm going to pull in a basic rectangle. This is the width and height of that area of the tumbler that we're working on. So I'm gonna unlock this up here, this little lock button. Just press it, it's gonna unlock it. And then I'm going to type in 9.5 by 5, okay? You can change this to whatever color you want. We're just gonna do red for now. And then what we're gonna do is take this offset, okay, just the offset. Just take it down here. Let's bring it to the front, okay? I'm just gonna, and that's actually a little bit big. Hold on. Let's resize. Before we get crazy and start slicing stuff out, I'm gonna bring all of this down here, bring it to the front, and make it the size that I want. I think that size is gonna be really good. And then pull it away, pull that offset back over here. I'm gonna select all of the heart and the square, and we're gonna align and center. That's gonna put it right there in the center of that square, okay? And now what we need to do is select the heart and the rectangle. We're gonna go to combine, exclude, okay? Now watch. This fits in here perfectly. How cute is that? Easy peasy, right?
Love it.
Now, if you're like, I got lost, you're going too fast, there's too many steps, you can go back and watch this replay. If there's still questions that you have, you can always email customer service. They'll get back with you, or they can ask me directly, or Lauren and Tanner, and we can all get back to you as soon as possible. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, I need to decide what colors I wanna cut everything out of. I'm just gonna leave that heart in, let's make the heart black. And you can change it up here. We're gonna make the heart black, and I'm gonna make the stupid Cupid in white, okay? So this is gonna be our striped layer, and these are gonna be cut out of basic solid colors separately. I'm gonna actually group all of my old design together and then hide it. That's my little tidbit for hiding a bunch of stuff really quickly on Design Space. And this is our design. So now we're using an Explorer 3 today. I'm gonna make sure to change my machine up here, and then we're gonna go to make it. And it's gonna want me to cut out these two first, but we've already got everything on our mat. So we wanna cut this out first. This is gonna be really, really close. So I'm gonna make it, let's go back here. I'm gonna select everything and make this 4.75. So it's just a little bit skinnier, okay? And I think we're only like I don't think we're actually fully 9.5 inches long. So if we have it a little bit smaller, then, sorry, I'm just debating in my head what I should do.
You're good.
I just need it to be a little bit smaller than 5. Okay, so let's go to make it. And then we're gonna go down here to this layer, and it's gonna cut this layer out first. We are using adhesive vinyl, so there's no need to mirror. We're gonna select continue, and then we're going to turn our machine on so that it can pick it up. Okay.
Alicia, you know what we forgot to do today?
What?
Well, I don't know. I forgot to do.
What?
Eat the baked ziti.
No, I ate it. I actually made you a plate and sat it out.
No way.
Yeah, but now you might should get some more because it's been sitting out for
You're
like
so
an
sweet.
hour.
I'll eat it. That's so sweet. Thank you.
You were busy on calls, and I was
Yeah.
like, I bet he's going to be getting hungry. So I set mine, and I brought Sadie's to her, too.
Oh, my gosh. Was it good?
Delicious.
So good.
Courtney makes the best baked ziti ever.
It's going in the cookbook.
It's going in the cook scrapbook. Okay, so what I would recommend, and this is just something that I just made an oopsie on, make your strips a little bit longer than what you need them to be. So I need them to be 5 inches. I should have made them 6-inch strips. Does that make sense? So now when it cuts out, it's going to be a little bit short, but it's okay because we can adjust and add in, like I'm going to show you how to fix it. But you want to make sure your strips are maybe, let's say like 1/2 inch longer than what you actually need. So if you need 5 inches here, it needs to be at least 5.5 inches long for your strips. So instead of making them exactly the length that it needs to be. I get so nervy cutting these out. So make sure to braid them down really well, burnish them down, flip it over, burnish it down from the back. You do not want these to move, okay? That's why I said you need to make sure you're using a new mat. And then we're just gonna load it into our machine, okay? And when I cut this previously, a couple pieces did kind of pop up. I just lay them back down. You can use your X-Acto knife because this is such a clean, simple cut. I can kind of go in with an X-Acto knife and like fix any cuts that messed up. Okay, we're gonna hit go and say a prayer. Say a prayer. Here we go, here we go. I'm really excited. I love this red, black, and white design. While that's cutting, I'm gonna make a band to go around here and around the bottom out of some of our excess vinyl. I think I'm gonna use this red glitter because I think it'll wrap most of the way.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
It's so close. But I can use like more than one, if that makes sense. Did that cut already? It's so fast. Okay, beautiful. And
Crystal,
then,
I've been trying so many different chocolate chip cookie recipes. The one, my go-to.
okay, so I just put transfer tape on top of that, and then I peeled off the entire design. Now I'm taking off the backers from the vinyls. Just got to be real careful in this part, not to accidentally pull off any vinyl. Some of my pieces didn't cut, and that's okay. It's interesting because you're using different, see how that piece came off? I'm just going to put it back on. You're using different textures of vinyls, and so some of them will cut through great, and then some of them won't. So you have to be really careful when you're weeding and things like that to make sure that you're getting everything. So
Yeah.
okay, I can't talk.
Alicia, full commit. Full send. Full send.
Full send.
Full send.
This
full
is
send.
not one that you can pull up and pull down, okay? So we're just committing. Also, I'm going to put the middle of this where there isn't a seam on my black polka dots just to prevent you from seeing any of that.
Smart.
Okay. Go with your heart. Go with your heart. Ooh. Okay, I'm just letting that side lay down.
Smart.
And then I'm going to pull off the transfer paper.
So good.
So we're just making sure it's on there really good. And then we're going to pull off this little segment of transfer paper. Make sure everything's on there really good. And then we can kind of let this side lay down. And so, you know, say earlier I was saying, like, I think I have extra. That's great. We want to have a little bit of extra, so it goes all the way around.
Yeah. Lorraine mentioned the parchment paper hack would be great here to line it up and things like that.
Oh,
That's
you know what?
true.
I used the, on the first one, I did spray it with water and lay it down. So if you're really stressed, you can spray the whole thing with just, like, literally a spray bottle with water and Dawn dish soap in it, like a drop of Dawn dish soap.
Yep.
And you'll be good to go. Honestly, you can just use water. You don't even need dish soap. Okay, y'all, this is where we're at now. I lost 2 pieces, but you can literally, like, I have so many of these. I can go in here and just trim those up and put them in.
Sarah, thank you for sending your document also.
We're getting so many sour. I want it. I want to have it.
Okay, I'll forward it to you.
Okay.
Sarah, thank you.
All right, so the next thing that we're going to need to do is just cut our stupid Cupid. We're going to place that on top of this. And you know what? I'm just going to leave. We'll pull these off right here. And I'm going to cut this in the top left corner. This standard grip mat is really committed.
Cheryl, I truly believe that you could do this if you wanted to. But I also want to give you the option. You don't have to.
Nope, you don't. But this is just a fun project to make if you're really wanting to use up some scraps. I feel like something like this, if you're just making on your own, is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Let's go back into design space. And we want to make sure our heart is about 4 inches. You can see it goes almost down to the 4-inch mark. So we're still using scraps. I'm going to use this black that we had left over. And you can cut off the excess. We don't need all of this. And then we're going to cut our heart out, and then we'll cut our words out. And I'm going to cut, while this cuts, I'm going to cut a little strip of something to go around where those seams meet, just to make everything look a lot better. Okay, premium vinyl removable mats, and then we are going to let that cut. I'm going to use that red. I think we tried it and it wrapped almost all the way around. You can use your paper trimmer. We're just going to make like a thin strip of this red to wrap all the way around this part of our tumbler. It can be as thick or as thin as you want. I personally like a semi-thin strip, but we want to make sure that it's covering. Let me make sure I've got a good straight edge here.
Now I missed this. What is the third mat or the second mat you're cutting? Do you have 2 more mats to cut?
Just
more?
one.
Cool.
This one cut, and I've just got one more after that.
Love it.
Okay, what I'm going to do is take this little strip of red, and we are going to put this around where our colors meet. This is going to kind of like hold everything together. It's going to make it look more finished, okay? So I'm just laying it down. It's like a finishing touch, if you will. Beautiful.
Love it.
Okay, so we've got our little heart, and while that stupid Cupid is cutting, we're going to cut that out of white, and I will weed our heart. We'll apply it, and y'all, that's it. I saw somebody earlier say, don't pull the Lauren where she knocked the tumbler, the glass tumbler off the table.
Listen, we all have those moments.
We all do, y'all. It do be like that. All right, let's trim out our heart.
Love it.
Love it. Okay.
Could you put transfer tape over the stripes before cutting? It seems like it'd be easier to weed. Tara asked.
Oh, yeah, I guess you technically could. I don't like to do that.
Yeah, it's
that's personal preference. Yeah, if you want to try it, go for it, but it's not mine.
Happy early birthday, Lindsay.
Yeah.
So fun. Tomorrow's our birthday. So
Yay.
good.
Happy early birthday. So I'm going to actually apply the the stupid Cupid to the heart, and then apply the whole thing to the tumbler, rather than applying this and then trying to align the stupid Cupid to it, if that makes sense. You could also add a strip of that red along the bottom here if you wanted to. This is giving me Mickey Mouse vibes, and I'm like here for it. You know we love some Mickey Mouse. Okay. So I'm just going to trim this out. And y'all can't see it, but I can. And we're going to weed it. Let me burnish this down. If you feel like it's not weeding well, burnish it down and then try to peel it up.
So good.
I like to do things really the proper way. But like y'all see me just like slapping that transfer paper on top of there. This is how I craft when I'm just chilling by myself.
So true.
So I don't know. I guess it's good that you all get to see all the angles.
So fun.
Okay, y'all. I'm gonna put this on here just like so, and then we're gonna burnish it, and that is it. You just put the lid in. You can do the glitter tone. If you do decide to do the glitter, do it first and then do your vinyl. Okay?
Amazing.
Yeah. All right.
I love it.
I think it turned out pretty cute.
So good.
Here's
so good.
both of our samples.
So let's look. So this was our start. This is our new. Oh, so fun.
Pretty fun, right?
Oh my gosh.
And we used a bunch of scraps today.
There's a lot of scraps.
Yeah.
I love this technique of like creating your own vinyl. Like if anything, you should make a project, just challenge yourself to like utilize
Make your own
strips.
Yeah.
I love that.
Very cool.
If you're watching this video, you're probably run into one of the biggest problems that most of our Cricut users have, and that is how to master intricate cuts on my Cricut. Well, you've stumbled upon the right video. My name's Alicia. I'm gonna show you how you can master all of your intricate cuts with a couple of tips and tricks that we have learned along the way. If you are ready to learn some new little tips and hacks for making the best out of your intricate cuts, go ahead and keep watching. We have spent hours upon hours cutting delicate, dainty cuts using our Cricut, and we found that there are a few different variables that play into mastering an intricate cut, and that's why we wanted to make this video for you all, because a lot of times we'll post projects and the names are teeny tiny, or we'll make cards and the cuts are so small, and people ask us all the time, they're like, how did you even cut that with your Cricut? Well, I'm gonna tell you all today the best way to do it. We're gonna go over cardstock, we're gonna go over HTV, and we're gonna cover adhesive vinyl as well. So, the main thing that I wanna start with is the materials that you're using. The material you're using is basically the foundation for whatever you're making. And what I mean by that is if you start off with a low quality material, you're setting yourself up for failure from the get-go. And so when I say low quality, I don't mean cheap as in the price or anything like that. I just mean the quality of the actual material that you're using. So we're talking high quality cardstock. We use Ashley Falco's Celebration Warehouse, which I will link below for you all. That is our favorite cardstock to use. In terms of heat transfer vinyl, we love to use the Caesar Easy Weed. It cuts like butter. And then for adhesive vinyl, we like to use the Starcraft or the Oracal 651. So if you've got a notebook and you've got a pen, go ahead, get it out, start taking notes. This is the only way that you're gonna be able to master these cuts. So you're gonna wanna start good foundation. We wanna have the best products. These products that I'm recommending for you all right now are tried and true. We use them on a daily basis here in the studio. And this allows us to really work through these intricate cuts a lot easier so that we're not dealing with bad product. We know the products work. And if we're having other issues, we know it's not the product, it's probably the way that we're cutting it. Now that we've talked about the brands that we love and the specific types of materials, I will say that if you are working with just vinyl, let's just talk about vinyl for now, and you are wanting to make a very small, let's say like a small wood sign, and there's lots of delicate words on there, if you all can use HTV, which is heat transfer vinyl, I'm gonna always recommend that you grab HTV when you're making a delicate cut. You can use adhesive vinyl, but weeding it is a lot harder. HTV already has that built-in transfer tape on it. So if you can choose between adhesive vinyl and heat transfer vinyl, I'm always gonna say go with heat transfer vinyl. It's gonna weed a lot better for those little tiny cuts. Like if you're doing a script name or something like that, it's got that built-in transfer. So it has something to stick to while you're weeding it, which makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to show you a couple of projects that we have used with these different products, and that way you can kind of see how really delicate and intricate you can get with your Cricut. So you can see here, we've got a couple different Christmas items that we've made in the past. You can see we have these tiny little branches on this Christmas card. Y'all, this is crazy. So we did cut these with the Cricut, so you can do it. It can be done. Even these little tiny berries were all cut using our Cricut. And the reason we were successful is because we used that Ashley Falco Celebration Warehouse cardstock, and we also used some of the tips I'm going to share in this video. Now, I've got something like this, which is an adhesive vinyl ornament. And you can see, obviously, there are lots of little tiny bits and pieces to this design. This is adhesive vinyl. Now, if you're working with a plastic ornament, obviously you can't use heat transfer vinyl. So this is an instance when you would want to choose adhesive vinyl versus heat transfer vinyl, because the base is going to melt if you put heat transfer vinyl on it. But if you're working with something like a wood sign where you can apply heat to it, or a textile where you need to adhere the HTV to the fabric, obviously HTV is going to be the answer there. Okay, so in order to keep us on track, I'm just going to go ahead and cover each of these separately. So I'm going to walk you through an intricate cut with heat transfer vinyl first, and then we can do the cardstock and then the adhesive vinyl. I'm going to walk you through the cut settings and all that. So go ahead, buckle up, get your notepads out, get your pens out, and be ready to take some really good notes. Something we run into a lot when we're making craft projects is using a very delicate script text that we want to cut out to maybe make a label or to apply to our project. I want to show you all a font that we use a lot. It's called Flexibility. Let me type out a word here, and we're just going to change this font to a more delicate font. Flexibility, okay. So imagine this word is at 1.8 inches by just under an inch tall. So this is tiny, you all. This is a very small word. I'm just gonna zoom in so we can really get a good look at it. There are a couple different ways that we could go about this. So we're planning to cut this out of HTV for a hypothetical project. And a couple things that I like to do whenever I'm in the canvas portion of my design space is to make my word whatever size you need it. Go ahead, size your word as big or as small as you need it to be. And then something that I've been doing a lot lately is go up here to your offset function. You see this drop down menu? We're gonna just drop that down. And this blue line around here, it's adding an offset. That is way too big. So we're gonna shrink this down to a 0.02 maybe. And look where that blue line went. So that made it a little bit thicker, but I still want it to be a little bit smaller because I want the middles of those letters to still be there. And then I'm going to hit apply. Now, that made our word a little bit thicker. I don't even cut that first one. I'm gonna change the color so you all can really see. I don't even cut that first one we typed out. I would just cut this because it still looks just as good. You're still getting that font, and the cut is gonna be a lot easier whenever you get to these really thin areas, and it's gonna cut a lot nicer for you. So that's my first little tip. Add an offset to your word and then just cut the offset. So you won't even cut this. You can hide it, and then you would only cut this offset portion. Okay, so let's go to the Make It screen, and we are gonna talk about what cut settings to use. Now, obviously, we're gonna need to mirror our image. So I'm going to select mirror. We're gonna select continue. We're cutting just using a standard Explore 3 machine today. So for heat transfer vinyl, when I'm making very small cuts, I'd like to use the everyday iron-on cut setting, but a lot of times I will go in here and hit less pressure. And so this
agitates that heat transfer vinyl just a little bit less, but it still allows it to cut all the way through the vinyl. So I'm gonna hit less pressure there, and we're gonna be using a fine point blade. Now, one thing that I have found to help a ton is to replace my fine point blade periodically, especially if I'm doing a lot of delicate cuts. So I just have some replacement blades here. I'm gonna pop that out, put a new one in, and this is going to ensure that my blade is not the reason that my intricate cut does not work. So I've got a new blade in there, and then I'm just gonna pop that back into clamp B. Okay, and then we've just got to put our heat transfer vinyl on to our mat. Now I am using our Caesar. Easy Weed is our favorite one to use today. So we are gonna be using Caesar Easy Weed, like I discussed before. This is the foundation for a good, successful, intricate cut. So I'm gonna burnish it down. This is also very important. You wanna make sure it is burnished down really well. You don't wanna have any bubbles underneath where you're cutting, because that's gonna mess up where the blade is cutting. Now we're only doing a small word up here in the corner, so I really just wanna make sure that this top corner is very flat and smoothed out. And then we are going to put this into our Cricut machine. Okay, so it has cut, but before we remove it, I wanna make sure that it did cut all the way through the vinyl. So I'm just taking a pin tool and lifting up, and you can see the middle of that letter came out just fine, and it looks like it cut great, you all. The pin tool that I just mentioned, this is a weeding tool that we absolutely love for intricate cuts. It looks like a pin, but when you open it up, it has this teeny tiny little pinpoint right here, which allows you to grab all of the little delicate middles of those letters. So we love to keep these on hand. I'll link this below for you all as well. We get ours from 143 Vinyl, and we love them. We have tons sitting all around. That way we can weed those intricate cuts whenever we need to. What I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna cut around our word and remove this excess vinyl. We really didn't need the whole sheet. I'm just gonna take it off. Okay. Now we are going to weed this together so you all can see in real time how easy it can be to master an intricate cut on HTV. All right, so we weeded it out. I'm gonna pull this off of the mat. Y'all, look how delicate that is. So don't feel like you can't do it. It just takes a little bit of adjusting. Make sure you're using that less pressure on the everyday iron-on when you're working with HTV, and also using that offset still allows us to have that beautiful font, and it looks really nice and everything weeded like butter. All right, so let's say that we wanted to cut the same exact word out of adhesive vinyl. So this is not heat activated vinyl. This is just your standard adhesive vinyl. We're gonna be using our StarCraft brand, okay? And I'm just gonna cut this same exact word. But something that I really like to do when I'm working with adhesive vinyl is to add a weeding box around my word. So what that means is come over here to your basic shapes. We're just gonna steal a square, okay? I'm gonna unlock this, and we can send it to the back just so we can see our word. And I'm gonna resize this really close to our word. Let me change the color so you all can see. We're just going to kind of butt it up next to the word, just like that. And then you can select them both and attach them. So we're gonna go to Make It. Now with adhesive vinyl, we're gonna be using a slightly different cut setting, and it's gonna sound crazy, but we love to use the washi sheet cut setting for adhesive vinyl intricate cuts. So you're gonna browse on materials, type in washi. So this is similar to like washi tape, but the washi sheet is the one that you're gonna select. We're gonna hit done. And then you can keep it at default pressure. I find sometimes I run into needing a little bit more pressure, but default works most of the time for me. So if you find that the default doesn't work, add a little bit more pressure and try it that way. But it should be fine just on that default pressure. So you're just going to use that fine point blade, okay? And then I'm going to just cut off a small corner of this adhesive vinyl because we don't need the whole thing. I just need a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to put it up in the corner where our cut's going to be at. You want to make sure, just like the HTV, that this is completely smoothed down. You don't want any bubbles. You don't want anything on the mat underneath the vinyl that's going to raise it up any, because it will not cut as good. And then we're going to load this into our Cricut. Now, that box that we put around the word is going to allow us to weed this so much easier. And you guys are going to see what I'm talking about here in just a second. So before I remove it, I want to make sure that it cut all the way through. So I'm just going to try to remove the middles of my letters. And it looks like it cut fine. So let's go ahead and take it off. And then we don't even have to remove the excess vinyl because, y'all, we put that bounding box around it. Let me show you how awesome this is. So we're just going to lift it up just a little bit. And really, before we even do that, it's good to take your burnishing tool, because where we use the fine point blade, it agitates that vinyl and it'll kind of want to lift up the vinyl that it cut out. And so this kind of pushes it back down, and then when we go to weed it, it's gonna stay stuck down better for us, which is particularly important when you're working with intricate cuts. And you can see this L wants to come up a little bit. That's okay, I'm just gonna kind of hold it down. But look, that came up so well, you all. I'm gonna remove the middles of these letters. And you can see adhesive vinyl isn't as easy to work with HTV, but it is doable if you've got the right cut settings down. Okay. And then we can just cut off the excess vinyl and remove it from the mat. And then you can just pull off that little square, and there you have it. Okay, so let's talk about working with cardstock. Now, this size of word isn't necessarily something I would want to cut out of cardstock, but I'm going to give you a couple different options on what would work best here. So I'm going to do a test cut for you all so you can see how this cuts using the cut setting that we prefer. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate this, and I'm going to make an offset of maybe not that big. Let's do a 0.1 offset. What I like to do when I'm working with cardstock, because you can apply adhesive vinyl as well as HTV to cardstock, I like to use this offset as my cardstock portion and then apply the HTV or adhesive vinyl to it, so that you still get that effect. But if you're working on a card or something like that, it gives you kind of like a little bit of depth with the cardstock, if that makes sense. So we're going to cut this out of cardstock, and we're going to cut this offset out of cardstock as well. Okay, so let's go to the Make It screen. I'm just going to hide one of these because we only need one, and we're working on a 12 by 12 mat steel. Let's go to continue, and we are going to use the cardstock for intricate cuts. When I first started working with paper, I didn't even know this cut setting existed, and I'm so glad that I stumbled upon it, because it has helped me so much when I'm working with little tiny pieces and I'm working with cardstock. Make sure you got that new blade in. We're going to keep it at default pressure. Let's go ahead. We're going to run this test cut and see what happens. Just like before, make sure there's nothing underneath your cardstock before you go to cut it. Make sure it's completely smoothed down, and then we'll run this through the Cricut. You can see here, whenever you're working with intricate cuts, it's actually going to do 2 passes. This just allows it to do 2 more delicate passes rather than 1 really heavy, high pressure pass. And that's what allows us to get those small cuts. All right, y'all, the jury is in. So it looks like it cut really good. Now, I have some reverse tweezers here. If you're new to paper crafting, reverse tweezers are so good when you're working with small pieces like this. You squeeze them to open them, and then when you release, they close, so it holds it without you having to like hold pressure like you would with normal tweezers. I'm just gonna pull this up. Y'all be so careful. Okay. I'm gonna go with gravity to get the rest of this off here. And honestly, a light grit mat would have been a better choice for this. Light grit mat and paper usually just go hand in hand. This is just the mat I had with me. And I'm just going to delicately take my reverse tweezers and pull this up. I'm not even gonna worry about trying to weed out the middles of those letters because they're just gonna pop off on their own. And I'm honestly just like loosening all of this up off the mat without trying to yank it all at one time. All right, y'all. Did you think that we could cut that? Look how tiny it is. It's so little, but we did it on the first cut too. So that is just great. I love it. And then if you find that you're just still having issues, like I said earlier, sometimes what I like to do is take my cardstock and we're gonna cut that offset that we put in Design Space. So we're just gonna cut that little offset using a regular medium cardstock cut setting. And so I'm just gonna remove this from our mats. And a lot of times, if I really just cannot get that cut mastered, I will do HTV. So this is just the HTV that we cut earlier. And I'll cut out the offset in cardstock and then line this up. And y'all, you can just use a mini easy press or just a quick heat source and apply a little bit of heat to this. And then you can take it off and you can see here, it still gives us a really pretty effect on something that is super small. So that's just an alternative for you. If you do all of the tips that I taught you all today, you should not have any problems cutting out intricate cuts with your cardstock or your vinyl or anything like that. As you can see, mastering intricate cuts doesn't have to be that hard. You just have to know what cut settings to use. I hope you all learned something new in today's video. Let me know in the comments which hack was your favorite, which tip did you learn that you had never heard of before. I would love to know. And if you have any questions, make sure to drop those in the comments as well. Again, if you all are new here, make sure to subscribe and hit the little post bell so you're notified every time that we make new videos. We would love to see you. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Bye.
We are making an Easter craft today. If you guys did not see the thumbnail, we're making a gigantic Easter. It's like, I have a pretty big head. I would say it's like 2 of my heads stacked on top.
It's so cute.
It's so cute.
I love this. I love what you all are gonna see. Like, I really think y'all are gonna learn so much from this. But
yeah, me too.
We have a good craft. Like, our craft is amazing. I love
Always.
the Easter egg. It's gonna make a truly customizable gift if you do gifts for Easter. But what I think that you all are gonna really love is watching how to apply vinyl to a curved surface.
Yes.
Without having the bubbles, because we always get bubbles on a curved surface, and I literally hate that.
I know, me too. And we me and Lauren like kind of put our heads together, I feel like, to figure out how to really master this. And I'll tell you guys, I'll walk y'all through the process and all that, but we're going to show you how to apply the vinyl to a curved surface, like Lauren said, without bubbles. So it's going to be super cute, super fun. The design is easy. So this is a really good beginner-friendly craft, in my opinion.
Yes.
And these eggs are at Walmart. So we'll go over all that.
We did have somebody just say they found the giant eggs at Dollar Tree.
Yes. So they have them at Dollar Tree and the Dollar General. The Dollar General has them. They're not this big, though. Y'all, look. I just want to show you how big this is. I told you it's like 2 of my heads, right? It pretty much, we have a mirror behind the camera. It's pretty much 2 of my heads.
Pretty much 2 heads.
Yeah, so it's giant. Obviously, I put Rube's name on here. We're going to do some daisies. I mean, isn't that just like the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life? Courtney brought these in like this, like with both of them the other day, and I was like, that is so stinking cute. So, okay, so we've got this.
Beth says Amazon has 10-inch eggs in a 6-pack. Look at the inches on that, on the front of that.
So this is, what does it say? It doesn't even say on here. I mean, heck, we can measure it. Well, let's measure it.
I'm surprised it doesn't say on there, though.
I know. I would think it would too, but it doesn't. I'm going to measure it from top to bottom. It's about 20 inches. So I have my design open on the share screen. Now, I don't have this font installed. I want to show you all, if you're like a Cricut newbie, if you download a font to a different computer and then you go over, you've saved your project, you go over to another computer and you try to open it, sometimes if you don't have the right font, and like if I try to edit this at all, it's going to default to Arial font. Watch what happens.
Ugh,
yeah,
I hate that.
I know. So you have to download the fonts onto individual computers, okay? When you download a font, it goes onto your computer, which is so weird because
fonts are not cloud-based.
Yeah.
But cut files are all cloud-based.
Yeah, so I know it sounds weird, but that's just the way it is. So we're going to go to fonts. The font we're using today is called Juniper. So y'all know I like to go gather my fonts, gather my design elements, and then we'll start creating in Design Space. So look how cute. Isn't this like the most perfect kid font ever?
It is an amazing kid font.
It's adorbs. So you're going to click that little down arrow. It's going to go into a zip folder, and then we're going to click on the zip folder to open it. And then it's going to say juniper.otf. Click on that. Maybe. And then, maybe. What is that from? Maybe. We used to say that all the time. We're going to hit install font. And so now it's on our computer. To get it onto Cricut Design Space, we're going to go back to Cricut, okay? Save whatever you were working on. We're going to save it. And then we're going to reload Design Space. So go up here to View and Reload. And that's going to pull that font into Design Space.
Sabrina says it's the Maybe Baby from American Dad. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, is it? Then maybe I didn't know it, and I just heard someone else say it, because I don't really like that show. So don't come for me. Trey loves that show, though. I'll say Trey loves American Dad.
Kim says, I think a Jim Carrey movie. I can see Jim Carrey saying it like that.
Me too, totally. Okay, so then I open up my fonts, and there she is, Juniper, which I think would be a really cute little girl's name, by the way. Juniper. Okay, now, this is kind of where we want to get to, okay? Sue, you can download fonts and files to an iPad, an Android.
Linda says that she has because she was asking why our Design Space looks different.
Oh.
And she said that she has I'm assuming an Android tablet.
Yeah.
We've never we don't work a lot with, we have a Windows computer in our office. We know, I mean, it's if you're working from a PC, a Mac, whatever. If you're working from a desktop computer, the Design Space is going to look the same. If you are working from a tablet, Design Space does look different.
Yes.
It is a little bit different. It's not a lot different, but it's just like the buttons are in different areas, but it's the same concept.
Right. So for the cut file we're using today, it's under Groovy Daisy. Oh, maybe if I spelled it right, we could find it. So this little file right here is so cute. Now, we designed this file specifically for this craft. We have been needing this file, desperado. We've been needing it really bad. So this little SVG is perfect. If you wanted the PNG, you could use that and use it like as a sticker, but the SVG is great because I can change the color of the middle of my flower because SVGs have multiple layers. PNGs are single layer vectorized images. So now what I'm going to do is go to upload image and then go to my finder, and I'm just going to click and drag that SVG in, and then we're going to hit upload. And then I'm going to select the flower, add it to my canvas, and then there you go. So easy, right? Now I want mine to look like this. So I want all white daisies with colored middles. Right now we've got beige daisy with a yellow center. First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and make these about 3 inches. Let me make sure that's what size I did over here because I really like this size. Yes, I did 3. Okay, let's zoom on in here. Now, I've got my SVG selected, okay? Over here, you can see in the layers panel, there's 2 layers. I want my daisy to be white, so I'm just gonna select that daisy layer, and then I'm gonna come over here to my colors and select white. And then for the middle, I'm just gonna select the middle, and I've got a bunch of colors here of vinyl, you guys. I just randomly grabbed a bunch of colors, and I'm gonna change it to that, okay? Easy enough, right? Then I'm gonna select it, and I'm gonna come up here to the layers panel and duplicate it. And then I'm gonna select both of those and duplicate those. And I'm just gonna change the centers over here in the layers panel. So if you wanna change the colors, you're gonna need to come over here and do it this way because it's grouped together. So like if I try to click on it, it's gonna select both. Do you see what I'm saying? So you've gotta use this layers panel. It's gonna help you a ton. And you can do as many flowers as you want. How many did I do on rubies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we only need 6, but I like a lot of color. So I may even do, let's see, we want to do a light blue and a corally pink color. And I'm going to do one of these in yellow. I just love this yellow color. Okay, so we've got 2 purples, a green, a yellow, a coral, and a blue. Okay, so we're going to zoom out. Well, I zoomed out a little too far. I got carried away here. Okay. So you can see, we don't really need these guys. We don't need them. It's bothering me that there's 2 purple flowers. I'm gonna change one. Let's see, I got a teal, I got a yeller. Oh, I have this like chartreusey green. Y'all know we're just weird about colors.
Oh, there it was. Yeah. Oh.
Money. That's it.
Yeah.
Is that lime green? Whatever you want to call it. What is that?
I think it's a mix between a lime and a chartreuse.
It's like a neon chartreuse.
Well, this is the chartreuse.
Oh, it's like a fluorescent chartreuse. Yeah. I bet on camera this is looking very neat highlighter yellow.
Probably very. I can't see.
I'm obsessed with this color though. I think it's so cute. Okay. Now, what we need to do next, I already had this ruby here, but I want to show you all how to get it to look like this. If we can go overhead. I want to do this 2-layer situation here, and we're going to do Georgia's name for this one. So I'm going to go into Design Space. We're just going to open up a text box, and I'm going to type out Georgia, like the state. And we want this to be, now you can take your egg. Let's take this egg apart, first of all, because you need to measure the area that you want. So, oh. Okay. And I wanted mine, I didn't want mine going across the seam. I wanted it kind of above the seam. You could even just do like a singular monogram. Oh gosh. But I just wanted to put mine right here. So So let's lay it down. So we want her name about 8 inches. I don't want it coming too far on the edges. I could go to 9 maybe. Yeah, let's go to 9. So back in Design Space, I have my name selected, and then up here on this area, we can change the width to 9. Okay, and then I'm gonna select a color for the background color. I'm gonna do blue. I like this light blue. Okay, and then to get that cool effect, that double layered effect, we're just gonna duplicate that. And I'm gonna make this one white, and then we'll stack them on the egg. Isn't that cute?
I love that.
I love it. Okay, now we've got everything that we need here. I'm gonna delete Ruby's name, and then we've got all of our flowers. I think that's all we need, you guys. That's it for Design Space. It's super easy. Okay, let's go to Make It now. So everything is sized exactly how we want it. Now, let's look what happened here. Why? I want someone to tell me why this happened. I know what happened, but I want to know like what, if you guys know. So all of my white flowers are here, and look, every one of my middles is on a different sheet. Okay, so there's 2 different reasons. They're different colors and they're not attached. Now we don't want them to be attached right now. We're going to kind of attach them ourselves. Not kind of, we are. We're going to attach them ourselves and layer the vinyl ourselves. But I want to have all of these on one mat so that I can cut them quicker. And instead of like loading in a mat and cutting one singular circle, like I don't want to do that. We're going to put all of this vinyl on one mat and cut them all together. So let me show you what you can do. Okay, so we do want to cut all of our white layers out. Now, while we're on this page, I'm going to select one of these colored mats. It can be any of them. While your little circle's selected, we're going to go up here to the 3 dots, and we're going to go to Move Object. I'm going to move all of them onto this yellow mat. I just picked the yellow one because I did. And I'm going to go to the next color one, hit Move Object, put it on the yellow mat. And it's going to automatically come up here to the top left corner, so it may look like it's not there, but look, if I move that, it's right there. And then I'm just going to keep working my way down. Now, I do want this one. Let's move it. Let's just cut it all in one. I think we can manage to fit the Georgia too. And
Yeah,
honestly,
sure.
you guys, I could have selected that and the Georgia by clicking and dragging. You can select multiples and move them at the same time if you want to.
So we did have somebody ask
Okay.
if they were making this for a little boy, what do you think what kind of designs?
My first thought is lightning bolts.
I do
Little
like
black lightning bolts.
I do like the lightning bolts
with black and white.
because you want it. You don't want a design. You don't want something that's going to be like super intricate.
Right.
You want something that's a little more easily manageable.
Yeah.
Basketball and baseball, you could do like white vinyl, like a white circle, and then cut out red laces. You could cut out an orange circle and the black part of the basketball. Let me see if we have those files before I say anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure we do, surely.
If we don't, it's getting added to the list ASAP.
Yes.
Just general.
Linda,
balls.
so I'm just going to tell you, like, an iPad is going to get you a lot further in Design Space than an Android tablet. I'm sorry. It just is. I'm not going to like tell you to go out and buy one. If you're going to go get anything, I would use a desktop computer or a laptop computer. That's going to be your best bet. Mobile devices just aren't as easy to use on Design Space. You can, don't get me wrong. They're just not as easy to work with. They're just not. So, Mel's Media, that's a good little tip. So they're saying that one thing they realized that made life easier, instead of moving all of the colors to one mat, they left them on their individual mat, but moved their position around on the mat, then placed the vinyl to where it needed to be. That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it this way for today. So let's look at what we've got here. We've got all of these here, okay? And then we've got all the rest of them right here. So let's start with our white. We're gonna go ahead and cut our white. So you're just gonna need a standard grit mat. Where did my mat go? I just had one in here.
Is it underneath your vinyl maybe?
No.
Do you want me to go grab one?
Yes, and I'll cut this vinyl up real quick.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna use this white adhesive vinyl. This is Starcraft. We buy the Starcraft vinyl in big rolls because we use the black and the white all the time. And I always tell people, like, if you don't know what color vinyls to get, just get a big old roll of black and a big old roll of white, and you're gonna be set for a good long while. Thank you. So I only need about 10 inches. I love this Starcraft because there's a grid on the back and I can cut it straight across. And then we're just gonna lay this vinyl side up because this is adhesive vinyl. And then we're gonna burnish it down, make sure it's stuck to the mat really well. Okay, and then in Design Space, we're going to hit continue and we're going to cut this on premium vinyl removable mats. And then I'm gonna go ahead and send it in to the Cricut. Now, that's gonna cut out. Does anybody have any questions? All right, so I'm gonna hit go on this. Now, if we go overhead, you can see I already made some of these flowers and I've already put masking on them and stuff. So you can like make a bunch of these flowers at once and it's pretty easy and quick. So I just had, these were left over. And honestly, y'all, you can totally do flowers all the way around. The reason I didn't is because I thought it was gonna look weird through the back. Like you can see these through the back. It doesn't look awful. But I just thought, you're not gonna see it anyways.
What
you know?
I thought would be super cute, and one thing that you all could do if you wanted to, is if you wanted to have the color through the back as well, just cut out another little circle and then place that circle down first, then the white flower, then the second circle on the top. And you'd be able to, it would look like the same through both.
Yeah.
But that's completely up to you all. That's a lot more work.
It is a lot of extra work.
So,
okay, that is about done cutting.
this is permanent vinyl. We got these eggs from Walmart. Some people are saying that they're out of stock at their Walmart. I looked on walmart.com. They are, the ones that I saw on the Walmart website are not, they're smaller than these and they're a lot more expensive. Like, and I don't understand why. Somebody said you could get a 6-pack of these on Amazon. So there's a couple different places that you can, now I don't know if the 6-pack on Amazon is, let me look on Amazon and see if I can find something comparable.
Okay, so that's cut. I'll weed that in a second, but we've got to lay out our mat. So this is our crazy mat with all the different colors. Let's look what we've got to work with in Design Space, okay? So it looks like we need some up in the corner. So what I do is I refer back to Design Space over and over again while I'm trying to get everything laid out. So these circles are like 1.5 inches, if that. So we really don't need that much vinyl, y'all. Just like a little tiny square. So I'm gonna put one up there and then burnish it down as you go so you don't miss any. Okay, let's grab this one.
They have them on Amazon, actually with handles on them.
Oh, that's fun.
But it's in a 12-piece. But let me see if I can find one. Here's a 10-inch one that's $9.36.
Okay, that's not bad. It's
So
a little
that's
smaller.
about right. No, that's as big as this. This is the jumbo one, and it has a video, and that's how big it is. Like that's somebody's hand. I mean, it's probably. I don't think it's as big as that one.
No, but it's still pretty big.
But it's still pretty big. So I think a 10-inch would be good, and then here it is for $9.36.
It's still cool. I mean,
Yeah.
the concept. Okay, so back in Design Space, let's look. So we've got, that second dot on the left, that one is right below the 5 mark. So overhead, we don't want to go right here because the 5 mark is right here. So we want to make sure that we've got plenty of area for it to cut. So I'm going to put it right above the 5 mark. And then we're going to cut a piece of this, and we're just going to keep working our way around this mat. Okay. And then we've got, look back into the share screen, we've got one right at the 6 mark. So I'm just going to put my green here. This would be a great scrap buster. Okay. I've got my teal. We're going to put that up in the corner. I love just a random assortment of colors. Okay, and then we're going to put this up here. And then we've got a purple one. And then on the share screen, this one is pretty much straight across from this coral color. So I'm just going to slide that over, burnish it down. And do I want to do, I said I was going to do this in all blue, but I already put the blue up here. Do we want to do Georgia's offset? Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is a 16-inch tall, 11 inches in width. It gives the dimensions online.
Okay,
but
cool.
You can't order it online.
Oh, that's silly, silly goose. Okay, and now this one's going, if you look at the share screen, it's going all the way across, but it needs to be at least 3 inches tall. So I love that the StarCraft has these squares, and there's also squares on the mat, so you can know, like, if you need your vinyl to be at least 3 squares tall, you can cut 3 squares on your vinyl. Bless you, Sadie.
Do you want to know what I literally just thought about?
What?
If they wanted to see it through the back, why not slice out the center of the flower? That way you can like know exactly where to place the colorful centerpiece.
Yeah.
Then you see it through the back too.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. Well, if y'all want to put them on there, you could do it that way. That would be easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy, but we're not going to today, but you can.
You can't, we won't, but you can.
We won't, but you can.
But you can. Okay, here's my colors. Interesting color scheme. I kind of like it. I'm
digging it.
It's very similar to what I picked for Rube's. Okay, so this is what our mat's going to look like. Okay, and then we're going to put this into our machine. Load her in, and we're going to cut it on premium vinyl removable mat. Everyone's telling you, bless you, Sadie. So I've never been blessed by someone on the internet, I don't think. Not that way. Blessed in other ways. Oh, it's so funny. Okay. Why is it telling me to load it in? It's already loaded, honey. Okay, hit go. Ignore my, this is me testing out a Dollar Tree hack. So there is a, I think it's actually a Cricut tool. It looks like a nail daughter.
What are you doing?
I was trying to score with the Dollar Tree thing. It actually worked.
Really?
Yeah. This font reminds me of the girl who does the girls like Halloween and Easter baskets in Knoxville, Michelle. Shout out to Michelle. She does hand lettering though. And she does, like, this is kind of like her handwriting. Very cool. Okay, I'm gonna weed out all these middles. Okie dokie. And then we've got our other pieces. Now I'm gonna keep these on the mat to weed them. I love this hot pink. I've been really into this color. I'm doing a nursing graduation party for my best friend, and it's this color and orange and like light pink, like oranges and pinks. I'm just really into it. I feel like when the weather changes, me and Lauren, and maybe Sadie are like this too, but like I be picking a color scheme. This summer, I've got a feeling I'm gonna wear a lot of this color, like orange and blush. I'm just into it.
Last year, mine was lavender.
Lavender and
I wore a lot
peach.
of lavender and peach last year.
Yep, me too. Okay, and I'm just taking off all of this extra vinyl. Okay, so now I've got everything weeded. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and transfer over all of these circles. I'm just putting my transfer tape down on the dot and then putting it over here on my circle and then removing it. Easy, right? Don't even need a burnishing tool. Honestly, I don't even need a transfer tape if you want me.
I know. Kristen said, who else loves that StarCraft has a blue backer for their white? I'm going to raise 2 hands for that because
Yeah, shout
I
out.
hate nothing more than white vinyl with a white backer.
Yes, just don't do that.
Just make it blue. Or make it a different
Any
color.
color.
Like, it's so much easier to see and to weed.
Any color is better than white. Oops. Sometimes you gotta be, after you use your transfer so many times, you gotta burnish it. I'm just eyeballing how to line these up, you guys. I have no real advice here, if you want me to be honest with you. I'm an eyeballer. If it looks good, it looks good.
Right?
If it pains you to not make it perfectly in the center, you can slice a hole out of your daisy and let that be your guide. You could measure it if you really want to take the time. But listen, this is just fun. I don't craft to be stressed out. I craft for fun.
Exactly.
And measuring stresses me out. So there you go. Oh, I love the white with the yellow center. It's classic.
Classic Daisy.
Classic Daisy. Okay.
So everybody's in the comments saying Caesar Easy Weed. So Caesar Easy Weed is actually heat transfer vinyl. What we are using here is StarCraft vinyl.
Yes.
StarCraft permanent vinyl.
Yes. And
Caesar Easy Weed, like I said, is a heat transfer vinyl, so it's completely different.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna cut off a longer piece for my name transfer. Okay, so the white needs to go on top of the colored. So what I need to do is put my vinyl on my white, and then we're gonna put it right on over. Okay. That was weird. I had to put it down weird because it like accidentally started sticking before I was ready.
Was it staticky or
Yeah,
something?
it like grabbed the backer. So I'm gonna transfer it on, burnish it down, and then slowly peel it up. This is why you do it slow, because sometimes it doesn't want to grab that vinyl. Okay, move that out of the way. And then you've got this right here. Now, I like mine to have the color towards the right a little bit. So you can hover over and kind of get an idea of if you like it more on the left, if you want it more on the right. This is how I like mine. Cuteness. Then I'm gonna burnish it. And the name is the first thing that I'm gonna put on here, just because I want the flowers to kind of go focus around the name. Oh, don't do that to me, Bobby. Okay. It doesn't want to grab, come on. We'll get it eventually. There we go, Lordy day.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Got my little egg. Come on over here, big mama. Okay, I'm gonna halfway want to take that off. Can you guys see this?
Do you have a burnishing tool you can put it on?
I have this thing. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna stay on a burnishing tool. Let me just show y'all how I did it. I'm just gonna do it how I did it.
Yeah, just go to camera
Sometimes I
one.
try to like just be showing y'all a proper way to do it, and sometimes I'm just gonna show you what I actually did. Hold on, I'm trying to snap it back in. Come on, there.
Do you need me to hold the vinyl? Because it's way off.
SOS!
Do you want me to
SOS!
help you?
Yeah, hold this. Just hold this sticker. I can't function. Okay. It doesn't want to go in. Okay, look, I'm gonna tape it shut. Don't open. Okay, now we're going to stick this. Now, there's like 4 little
Okay, move
clasps.
the transfer tape.
There's 4
from the
little
front.
clasps,
There you
so
go.
that is how I'm centering it. Okay, so there's a clasp here and a clasp here, so there's one on each side. I'm gonna look at it like this and just put it on
And I'm just
5,
gonna look-
6, 7, 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then just do it.
Okay, yeah.
Don't think, do it.
That's how I like to live my life. I am gonna like kind of do it in the middle, but you know what we should do before? We should show you our hack. Because I didn't do it with Ruby's name because it's so little, like it was so short, but Georgia's name is so long. So what we're gonna do, you're gonna get your trusty little water spray bottle. This is just water. This is from Dollar Tree, I think. Yeah, Sadie got this for me from the Dollar Tree one day. It's so cute. We're gonna spray it with water, you know? We're just gonna spray it. Just like a few little spritz.
Just missed.
Does anyone else love that sound? It's given Hot Cheeto Girl
I know.
in high school.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then we're going to put it on here. So what the water does is allows us to move our vinyl around where we want it to go. I'm gonna tip this back so you guys can see. And it also prevents bubbles from getting in, okay? So it acts like it doesn't want to stick when you first put it on, but it will. So I'm just gonna take my burnishing tool, and this is somewhat of a process, okay? But trust it. Trust the process. And I'm just using my finger to kind of hold the vinyl down. Now it's acting like it doesn't want to stick. Once that water dries, it will stay, I promise.
Mm-hmm. And to get for the wet method, it is honestly best that you do like a full spray bottle of water and like 1 or 2 drops of Dawn dish soap.
Yes, Dawn dish soap will help. So I am just very carefully removing this, okay? We don't use this method all the time, but it works especially good on curved surfaces. Oh, see, this is why you don't want to move too much. Hold on, y'all. I gotta go out of the shot. Because the dot of the eye is not one to cooperate. Okay. And then what I like to do is go in here with my finger and make sure all of this is flattened out. You can see there's some like bubbles. Kind of press them out. And sometimes you can't even see them. You've got to like put it at an angle to even see it. Beautiful. There's a good close-up of it.
Love it.
Okay. Beautiful. Now, let's do our flowers. So, you can put these wherever you want. I don't have like a really great strategy for like placement. You don't want them too close together unless you want it to look intentionally close together. Like if you wanted to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and like do them in a stagger. But I want mine to be kind of like randomly placed around. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna do the same spray method. Just pick a spot. I like to eyeball my spot first, and then we're just gonna spritz it. I'm just gonna do like 3 spritzies. And then we're going to apply this to the egg. Okay, and it's gonna move until obviously all the water is out. And I will say this, it does not guarantee complete wrinkle free, okay? But it does help a ton. The bubbles are out, like, I think I left one actually on Ruby's egg. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like if you just went in without the water. Because originally I was just like, well, I'll just put it on there, it's fine. No. The water is what makes it look so good. So, and then you have to kind of push all that water out.
And what's fun about, and with these, and I want you to try it on one of these if it's something that you're comfortable with. I want you to just pick up one of these flowers, like just take it off since it's all one thing, and just spray it and not use transfer tape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could totally. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I know you will. Now this one went a little high up on the egg. So it's
very rounded.
So it is very rounded. If this happens, use the wet method. Like, get all of that out. But one thing you can do is take your True Control knife or an X-Acto knife, and in like between one of the two of the petals, just make a little slit and kind of like overlap it.
This one right here, I did. Do you see where I overlapped? That was the True Control knife. I just put like a little tiny cut. So that's something that you can do. But that's like the hardest area, really. One of these, I think maybe I took off the one that I messed up. I don't know. I think I didn't wet method this one. And look, there's bubbles. There's like a little crease. So that was like not good. So the other ones I did do with the wet method, and they look really good.
Somebody asked us to please explain again why water on the sticky side. So, Susan, what is going to happen if you use water? It's going to allow you to move your vinyl around, and especially if you are like wanting to get all the bubbles out, it's going to allow you to smooth all those bubbles out without it completely sticking until and then once the water evaporates, it's going to stick perfectly fine. Like, it's not going to hinder the vinyl at all. It's still going to stick beautifully. But this works really, really well if you have a very solid piece, if you have a very solid piece that you're trying to put on a curved surface.
Right. Like, look how good that one went on. I mean, that is smooth like butter. So, and that was more, like, once you get towards the middle, it's a little bit more of a level surface. What color do we want up here? Purple? Yeah. So I'm just going to keep on trucking. That one I did not use transfer tape. It was a lot easier. So I'm just peeling these off. I've just peeled it off. Okay. There's no transfer tape on here. And then we're just going to spray it. And then I'm going to apply it. This one's on kind of up high, so it's going to be a little bit more finicky.
But not as bad as that other one with the transfer tape.
Yeah, that's true. Just putting it on with your hands is going to save you a little bit of time, a little bit of frustration. Okay. I think I want to put one down here. And y'all, I mean, that's pretty much it. And this is going to get you some good practice using this wet method. That this one's probably going to go in pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Because it's like pretty flat right there. I'm on my last flower, everybody.
Yay!
I'm like lining this back up every time because I want to make sure.
You put it in the right spot.
Yeah, like I got to see it a little bit.
Love it.
Love it.
The bottle that Alicia is using, we're pretty sure came from Dollar Tree.
Yes.
So.
And it's just got some water in it. Just water. And you can put dish soap. Dawn dish soap. I mean, this is just so easy, y'all. And this is my last flower. These would be cute to sell for Easter.
And honestly, if you can find them at your Walmart, number one, stock up. Get them all. buy them all. It really makes me want to go to Walmart like now and see if we have any left.
Yeah, really.
Because Courtney just bought these like the end
Yes.
of last week maybe.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Cute. I did realize that I put Georgia's name way lower than Ruby's name.
well, I think her name is so much longer that you almost have to.
I know.
I really like the placement of her name.
Me too. Okay. There's Georgie's.
How to?
And there's Ruby's. I think they look really cute.
I love them.
I love them. They're so fun. And so you can just put whatever stuff in there. I got, yeah, or the Easter Bunny can do it because he's real.
There you go. Hey, I'm just gonna let the Easter Bunny do it.
I'm not even gonna worry about it. The Easter Bunny has got it covered.